Today, we're really getting into something significant. We're heading to the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, but maybe not just for the usual red carpet stuff.
Exactly. This is about Iranian filmmaker Jafar Panahi and the premiere of his new film. It was just an accident. It's got some real weight to it.
And for this, we're leaning heavily on a report from Deadline. It covers the premiere, sure, but also, crucially, Panahi actually being there.
Right. Because this isn't just another movie release, is it? We want to explore what this moment really means.
Yeah.
For him personally and for artistic expression when it's up against, well, serious political constraints.
It's got layers, lots of layers beyond just a film showing up at a festival.
Okay, so let's set the scene. May 20th, 2025, the 78th Cannes Film Festival. What was the immediate reaction?
Well, the reaction was pretty overwhelming, actually. The film, it was just an accident. It got a 10-minute standing ovation.
10 minutes?
Yeah, full 10 minutes. And, that kind of applause, it's not just, oh, nice film. It often means something deeper.
Right. Definitely suggests a connection.
Exactly. It felt like this huge collective "we see you" to Panahi, acknowledging his courage, the risks involved, everything he's dealt with from the Iranian government. The audience got it.
That speaks volumes, doesn't it? And the fact he was there, our source highlights this, his first time physically at Cannes since 2003.
Over 20 years. His absence wasn't by choice, that's the key thing. It was directly tied to all the issues he's faced back home.
Incredible. Okay, before we dig deeper into that whole history, tell us a bit about the film itself. What the heck is just an accident about?
Well, the one-liner they give is, what begins as a minor accident sets in motion a series of escalating consequences. Simple enough, right?
Sounds straightforward, but I'm guessing it's not.
Not really, no. It's fiction, but it deals with some heavy themes. It's about these working-class people who were wrongfully jailed in the past, and now they're seeking revenge against the guard who tortured them.
So, quite intense. I saw Pete Hammond's review in Deadline, called it a powerful statement for humanity.
Yeah, and also a warning that you better watch back. So, even though it's fiction, it's clearly packing a punch, socially, politically, maybe?
Which makes sense, given Panahi's history. This is where his long, difficult relationship with the Iranian government really comes into focus, isn't it?
Absolutely. You look at his filmography, The White Balloon, The Circle, Taxi, he consistently pokes at complex parts of Iranian society, often critically.
And that hasn't gone unnoticed, to put it mildly.
No, not at all. He's faced intense pressure for years. What kind of things are we talking about?
I mean, the list is pretty staggering. Multiple arrests, prison sentences, house arrests, bans on making films, bans on traveling. A whole system aimed at silencing him.
And he only got out of his most recent jail term in February 2023.
That's right. So just the fact that this film exists, let alone premiered at Cannes with him there, it's kind of remarkable.
It really is. And, he said something interesting in the production notes. Even though the sentence banning him from filmmaking and travel was technically annulled.
Annulled, yeah. Sounds like progress, but...
Yeah, but he says he's still operating on the margins. His exact words were, I have no choice but to keep working outside the system.
So the legal change didn't necessarily translate into real freedom to create.
Seems not. It highlights that gap between legal rulings and the day-to-day reality for someone like him.
And the making of the film itself sounds like it was fraught with difficulty. They had to use clandestine methods.
Yeah, the report mentions this incident. Plainclothes officers actually showed up on set.
On set? While filming?
Yep. Demanding all the footage. Panahi refused, flat out.
Wow, that takes guts.
It does. And they threatened to arrest the crew, shut down the whole production, but he stood firm, and eventually they just left.
Incredible. So they paused filming.
They did pause, yeah, but then they resumed. It just shows his determination and his crew's commitment too, working under that kind of constant threat.
And Cannes itself, this isn't the first time the festival's been part of his story, is it? Their history goes way back.
Oh, absolutely. His very first feature, The White Balloon, back in '95. It was in the Director's Fortnight section at Cannes.
Which is a pretty big deal for a debut.
Huge deal. And it won the Camera d'Or, the award for Best First Film. So right from the start, Cannes was a platform for him.
Instant international recognition.
Then in 2003, he was back with Crimson Gold. That played in Uncertain Regard, another key section, and won the jury prize there.
So, continued success at the festival.
Yes, but here's the twist. Crimson Gold was actually picked as Iran's official Oscar submission.
Okay.
But then it was banned by the Iranian authorities. So, international acclaim, but banned in its own country. That tells you a lot.
That really illustrates the kind of the push and pull he's always faced, doesn't it?
Exactly. And then things got much worse. 2009 saw his arrests, leading to that 2010 sentence.
A really harsh one.
Yeah, the 20-year ban, no filmmaking, no writing, no interviews, can't leave Iran, plus the threat of 6 years in prison if he broke the rules. Just devastating for an artist.
Unbelievable. And yet, he kept making films, even with that hanging over him.
This is where his defiance really shines. In 2011, he made This Is Not a Film.
Right, the one shot in his apartment.
Exactly, shot entirely under house arrest, basically. And it's still screened at Cannes, out of competition. It was a powerful way to highlight his situation, turning the restriction itself into the subject.
Using the confinement itself as the medium. Powerful stuff.
And he didn't stop. Closed Curtain in 2013 won Best Screenplay in Berlin, then Taxi in 2015. That won the Golden Bear, the top prize, also in Berlin.
The Golden Bear.
Yeah.
While technically banned from filmmaking.
Incredible, isn't it? And Three Faces in 2017 was back competing in Cannes, won Best Screenplay there too. It's just an astonishing creative output under impossible circumstances.
But the pressure didn't let up, right? He was arrested again more recently.
Yeah, July 2022. And he was only released in February 2023 after going on a hunger strike.
A hunger strike? Just awful.
The Deadline report also suggests he managed to leave Iran later in 2023 for the first time in 14 years, which makes this 2025 Cannes appearance feel even more like a landmark moment.
A real return.
Yeah.
But despite maybe having the option to leave, he chose to stay in Iran.
That's what's so striking. He made a conscious decision. There's this quote from him in the production notes. It's really quite something.
What is he saying?
He says, "I can't live anywhere else. Many of my fellow Iranians have chosen or have been forced to emigrate, but I can't do that. I don't have the courage. I'm unfit to live outside Iran."
Wow.
And then he adds, "We'll see what happens. In any case, this film had to be made. I made it, and I'll accept whatever consequences may follow."
That's incredibly powerful. The weight of that choice, personally and artistically, it says so much about his connection to Iran despite everything.
It really does. It speaks to that idea that for some artists, their work is just so bound up with their home, their specific reality, that leaving feels impossible, even if it means facing danger.
So wrapping up our deep dive here, Panahis Return to Cannes, this film, it was just an accident made under such duress. It really hammers home the importance of artistic freedom, doesn't it? Everywhere.
Absolutely. And the audience reaction, that massive ovation, combined with his own decision to stay and keep working from within Iran. It paints this complex but ultimately inspiring picture of resistance.
Yeah, it shows how powerful cinema can be, even when facing censorship and real personal risk.
Definitely. The enduring power of just telling stories.
And it really leaves you thinking, doesn't it? When you consider the risks he takes, what does Panahis' story tell us about how vital storytelling is, especially when facing adversity?
And what's the role of places like Cannes, these international platforms? How important are they in supporting voices like his?
Good question. And then the final thought, perhaps. How many other stories, important stories, might we be missing? Stories that aren't being told because of similar restrictions elsewhere in the world.
That's definitely something to ponder.